Hello again, I'm back with the journal I mentioned in the last video that I did, and I'm really pleased how it turned out. It's very pretty and sort of soft and romantic, and I love all the layers that sort of happened as I was going along. It's a design team project for a whimsical adventure, and it's a crown of flowers kit that I've used, which is really pretty. This is one of the images from it. This is a Tim Holtz frame, but I think everything else in the kit is, everything in the book is from the kit. And yeah, it's only one signature, and but there's a lot in it. I did lots of lacy bits in this one and layers, so I'm really pleased how pretty this one turned out. It's quite long. What did I do with my ruler? It's quite long. It's like 10 inches by about 6, but what I did is I kept the pages inside quite small. So the pages inside are about 5.5 by 3.5 if you don't include the lace on the edge. I just really like this napkin and I wanted to use it without cutting it up, so this is why I ended up with a sort of more unusual shape. It's a linen napkin and it's got this beautiful scalloped edge, and I sort of kept folding it and pinning it to see how I could use it. Because it's linen, by doubling it over, it gave it the strength to be the cover without having to put anything else in it. So by just playing with the shape, so it's a wee bit unconventional, but I really like how it turned out. So I've got a nice big pocket in the back. Again, you can see the scalloped edge. There's a wee bit of pink left. This Battenberg lace that I used was on a pink fabric, and there's a couple of wee bits of pink still showing through, but it matches the theme, so it was fine. But yeah, so I ended up putting lots of layers of vintage lace and the tulle in this one, all to go with this edge, and then I just put the one signature in the way I wanted it to sit. So yeah, so everything's a wee bit squee-biff, but I really like it. The sari that I used is stitched in, so it doesn't come off on this one. And on the front cover, this is a wedding hairpin that I got in a charity shop, and I used that as the focal point, and I basically built this round. This is what I knew I wanted to use, so I built everything else around this. So there's some vintage crochet, the tulle, the sari silk that I've used throughout the book, and this is a shell button, and then there's lots of wee dangles in this book from the same necklace that just had the perfect coloured beads. On the back, again with more tulle, there's some vintage crochet here. This is a glass coaster. You've got there's another like the ones you would use on a dressing table, the wee coasters you would use on a dressing table, and then there's some of that vintage crochet on top of that. There's a wee seed bead in each of the flowers as well, and a couple of shell buttons there as well, and it's just sewn in with a pamphlet stitch there. So there we go. I think I should get it all in frame. I've got a new camera stand, which is a lot easier to set up, but it's quite close to the table, so we'll see how we get on. But I think that's it all in. So yeah, so the pages of the kit were just perfect with the sort of theme I was going for, in a very romantic, soft kind of feel to this one. There's lots of layers in each of the parts that I've put in the book. So there's vintage lace with some beads. There's little seed beads in there. There's the sari ribbon, then there's another lace there, and then another lace there. I think there's 2 layers of the sari ribbon actually there. I wanted sort of different colours of lace, to come through, and then another one of those little flowers that I used on the front. And all the journaling cards that come with this kit just fitted what I had in my head for it just perfectly. Again, these are all wee bits of, I had used 2 different necklaces for this book. One is a silver one with the perfect coloured beads, and then the other one was a lot of pearls. So there's little pearls attached to lots of layers here as well. These little squares come with the kit, and I just made little paper collages and then added little layers along with it. And I use it's one of the Tim Holtz inks. It's the Victorian Velvet. I think that's the only pink one I have. So that's the colour that I've used throughout this one. It's quite subtle. Is it that one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only. I don't tend to use a lot of pink. Yeah, it's the only pink one I have. So that's the Victorian Velvet that I've used there. And then I use the brushed corduroy for my stamping. It gives it a much softer look to your stamping than I feel the vintage photo does. These are wee bits from the kit, which I just thought were lovely, leaving them exactly as they are. I think that's one of my favourite pieces. The 2 ladies, it's very Charles Rennie Mackintosh's wife. She was a MacDonald. Her work, it's very like her work. It may well even be based on hers. Can't remember her name, that's really going to bug me. But I always liked her work better than Charles Rennie Mackintosh's. This is another wee cluster. I've tried doing a few of these little embroidery knots on there. That I'm seeing a lot of people using embroidery on paper at the moment, and I'm just loving it. So I'm definitely going to have a wee practice with that over the next wee while. And we've got a wee envelope here, and another wee cluster on it, and a stamp. I left these open because I thought I printed them onto card rather than paper, and I thought it'd be a nice wee place to put a journaling spot on a wee card from the kit, so I left them actually open. And that's just attached on there with another wee paper clip, and again with a wee jewel on there. It looks like a wee is it amethysts? That's the pink stone. I think that's what it looks like. And then there's another wee pearl on here, and again another wee cluster of the sari and some vintage lace, and another wee square from the kit. I loved all these wee squares, and I've just used them throughout when I did any kind of little bit on the pages. This comes with the kit as well, one of these little banners, which I've used. Again, just another little bits and pieces of vintage lace to top it off. And it holds a wee journaling card there. Another wee layer. This is, a lot of the vintage laces come and they're quite square. They've got like an edging down them, but they'll have a really lovely design down the middle. So I don't know if you can see there, but what I tend to do is I rip off the edges, which sounds terrible when it's this lovely old lace, but I much prefer the pattern going down the centre than the very straight edge. So what I tend to do is I rip them, and they rip really well, and the edging you get, you can tie into bows and things, and it looks really nice. So that's what I tend to do with that. I tend to rip things a lot. I prefer a ripped look. Like, I don't know if you can see on the edge of my pages, I go round with one of these rulers for ripping is it deckled edge? A deckled edge ruler it's called. I tend to do that with all my pages from kits because I just think it's a much nicer finish, and because I use quite thick paper for when I print out the kit, once the pages are dry, because I don't have it's an inkjet printer I have, so the colour would run. But what I do is I let it dry completely, and then I just paint my tea dye on one side. And if you use the deckled edge, it soaks up the tea. So you actually get a really nice dark edge with the tea, and then the tea spills over a little bit, and I really like the effect. So that's what I tend to do, is I tea dye after I've printed it off, but just with a paintbrush. And you have to be really quick. You have to sort of paint it on, blot it, and then dry it really quick. Otherwise your colours will run. Unless you have a laser printer, which I don't. So So that's how you get this really nice soak up of tea on the edges, and it works really well. So we've got another one of the wee banners here with a couple on it, which I thought was lovely. And again, more lace. So this was a corner of a page that didn't actually need to put in the book. So I tore off the bit I liked of the corner and just put it in as a wee flip, which I thought was quite nice using washi tape. And then in the centre, we've got a big pearl and a wee sparkle. Again, from the same pearl necklace I used throughout the book. This comes with a kit as well, which is supposed to look like a torn piece of paper. So, I don't know if you can see the edging. This is the tea. By painting on the tea after I've printed it, this is the tea that's doing this to the edge and gets lovely aged effect. Again, you've got to be really quick or it'll start changing colour because it'll start running with your ink. But it does work if you're quick enough. And I've just used washi tape to pop that in. And a wee journaling card here with another wee bit of the necklace. Love this page, the blue in this I think is just lovely. And I've just put a journaling card and a wee ticket in there. And again, I've just built up lots of layers. As I've said before, I just sit with a pile of bits until I'm happy. And I make them fit. So we've got a wee bead down here and a wee amethyst at the top. And another wee envelope here. And again, I've left that one open with a wee journaling card there. And it's got a little cluster on it. I had fun with this because it is just so pretty. And I'm not a pretty girl. I don't wear pink and stuff like that, but it is lovely sometimes to do something that is completely different to what you would normally do. I've used watercolour paper in these little clusters to give it a nice effect. And I need to gesso that. You can see this. So there's the difference. This is how the kit would print out, and I've gessoed this page to dull the colour. Because as much as this is lovely, I prefer more muted colours. So I love the effect of gessoing over the top. So I will gesso that so it matches that. But you can see how lovely and bright the kit will print off. But this is what I do with it. I just tend to mute it slightly. This is a lovely piece of vintage lace that I used on here. It's just so soft. And it's very, very old. And I just stitched some of the sari in there. This is what I loved about this sari is the blues match the blue, but the pink really draws out the pink in all the pictures too, because it is a mix of both. Another lovely image here. And another wee pocket here, which I've just built. This comes with a kit, so does the stamp. And another wee cluster there. And what I did is this pocket comes with a kit, and all I did was I stuck the Battenberg lace on, let that dry, and then added the pocket. So you get that coming out from behind the pocket, which I really liked. Another couple of wee bits that come with the kit. I really like this frame. And another wee pearl on there. And then I think I mentioned when I talked about the cover that I've got a nice big pocket here at the back, and these bits come in the kit as well. And all I did was ink over the top of that. That comes really white, and I use lots of ink and tea on that, and the same on that. So really nice big pocket there. So they sit sort of square to the book, or you can put them into the V, either or. We've got some more dangles from the necklace. So yeah, so this is a very little, very cute, I thought, little book. And I'm really pleased how it turned out. I think this does have a home to go to. This was my last one of somebody who'd requested a book. So I will offer this to her. And if it's what she's looking for, then you know, she gets first dibs on it. But if it's not, then it will go in my shop. But I think the lady is interested. I sent her a couple of photos, so she's just waiting to watch this video. But so yeah, so there we go. That's my little book. I'm going to try and maybe have a play. I do have other design team projects I've got to do this month, and I might have time to do something small, but I'm not going to be doing any more journals for this year. This is my last one for this year, and I will hopefully get started quite quickly in the new year, because I'll be able, in the new year, I'm very lucky that I'm going to be able to concentrate solely on my books for a wee while, which hopefully means I will get more out and in my shop quite regularly. So fingers crossed. And I just want to say another huge thank you to everybody that's subscribed to my channel this year and has left some, you know, the lovely comments. I'm sorry if I've missed any. I am going back to my old videos and trying to go through them when I have time to, because I did realise I was missing comments because I wasn't getting notifications on the app. Because I do everything on the iPad, it's not as good as doing it on the computer, and the notifications aren't as obvious. It's the same with things like Instagram and Etsy. You get a notification, and if you don't see it as it comes in, it's sometimes not very obvious when you go into the app. So I'm trying to be better at checking. But it's been so busy lately that I am still missing things. But I will keep a better track of it from now on. And so yeah, so just thank you again for all the lovely comments and subscribing to my channel and watching me ramble on. If somebody had told me a couple of years ago I'd be doing this, I would never have believed them. But I am really, really enjoying it. And so yeah, so fingers crossed I will be back again soon with another video. It might not be a full journal, but I'm hoping to do something. I've got a little bit of time before my craft room becomes my son's room, but not much longer. So I'm going to see what I can get done over the next few days. And so thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.